Okay, so let's get right into it. The story of Jeffrey Epstein has always been dark, but things have just gotten a whole lot crazier. A massive new release of documents has just blown the lid off a global scandal, and the names and connections coming out are shaking some of the world's most powerful people to their very core.
Our story really kicks off here, inside this 7-story mansion in New York City. It was actually the largest private home in all of Manhattan. But this wasn't just some rich guy's house. No. This place was the stage for one of the darkest scandals of our time.
And this was no ordinary home. I mean, the first thing visitors would see was a wall of framed, fake eyeballs just staring back at them. Talk about a chilling, not-so-subtle message. You were always being watched here.
And it gets weirder. In the main hall, there was a life-size sculpture of a bride hanging from the ceiling, just swinging. The whole vibe was designed to be as unsettling as it was luxurious.
And that feeling of being watched? Yeah, that was 100% real. Turns out there were hidden cameras absolutely everywhere. We're talking bedrooms, bathrooms, recording everything and everyone. Nothing was private.
And now, this whole thing is just blowing wide open. The U.S. Justice Department has unsealed over 3 million pages of documents connected to Epstein. 3 million! And what's inside is literally shaking the halls of power across the globe.
You see, this mansion was the hub, the playground, where Epstein entertained presidents, prime ministers, billionaires, you name it. And now, these new files are basically the guest list from hell, revealing just who was on it.
So you see some familiar names here, right? Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, not a huge surprise. But look at this. The new files implicate some of India's most powerful figures. Industrialist Anil Ambani, Minister Hardeep Singh Puri, and there's even a connection to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. So the big question is, how on earth did one man get this much influence?
To really get a grip on Epstein's power, you have to understand his method. See, his real currency wasn't just money. It was information. It was access.
He allegedly had this whole 4-step playbook. First, this guy, a college dropout mind you, gets super rich being the money man for Leslie Wexner, the billionaire behind Victoria's Secret. Wexner even gave him that mansion. Second, he used that as a base to host the global elite. Third, he secretly recorded them. And finally, he allegedly used those recordings as leverage, as blackmail, to expand his network even further.
And this surveillance thing, it was no secret to those trapped inside. One of his victims, Maria Farmer, testified about a media room with monitors showing live feeds from all the hidden cameras. Her words are just absolutely chilling. The main monitor showed everything. Toilet, toilet, bed, bed. I'm never going to use the restroom here.
Now, this is where some of the most explosive revelations in these new files come from. The detailed connections to the highest circles of power in India. And this is a huge deal because it shows Epstein's network wasn't just some Western scandal. No, this was a global operation with real geopolitical reach. I mean, take this message from industrialist Anil Ambani to Epstein. He wasn't asking for financial advice. He was asking for help dealing with the White House on the India relationship plus defense cooperation. This just shows the extraordinary level of access Ambani believed Epstein had.
And now, look at this timeline for May 23, 2019. This is the very day India's election results were announced. Anil Ambani is at Epstein's home. Hours later, Epstein is texting Trump's former strategist Steve Bannon about a really interesting Modi meeting, and he calls Ambani his guy. He even suggests setting up a meeting between Bannon and Modi. Then the next day, Epstein texts Bannon simply, "Modi on board."
Another key figure here is Hardeep Singh Puri, who is now India's petroleum minister. The files document multiple meetings at Epstein's mansion between 2015 and 2017. Now, these meetings did happen before Puri became a minister, but get this. One email shows Epstein introducing him to LinkedIn's founder as your man in India.
But look, the Indian connection, as wild as it is just one piece of a much larger puzzle. The Epstein files confirm what many have long suspected. This was a truly global network, implicating figures from royalty, big tech, and politics.
I mean, maybe the most public downfall we've seen is Prince Andrew's. In 2019, Virginia Giuffre accused him of assaulting her when she was just 17. By early 2022, he'd been stripped of his royal titles and settled that lawsuit for a reported £12 million. He's basically been removed from public life, and it all stems from his connection to Epstein.
Then you've got Bill Gates.
Publicly, he denied any friendship with Epstein, but what the reports and files actually show is a completely different story. We're talking multiple meetings after Epstein was already a convicted offender, Gates flying on his private jet, and this connection being cited as a factor in his divorce. The public statement and the reality, they just don't add up.
And the list of powerful figures just keeps going. It's wild. Elon Musk shows up asking about the wildest party on Epstein's island. Donald Trump's name is in the files over 4,500 times. And you've even got these unexpected names like the intellectual Noam Chomsky and a former CIA director, William Burns, who are documented as having met with him.
All of this information leads us to a final and deeply unsettling section. Because despite all these revelations, the biggest questions in this entire scandal are still completely unanswered.
First, what else are we not seeing? As massive as this document release is, it's only about 60% of the total files. That means a staggering 40% is still secret. So you have to wonder, what other names are in there?
And then there's the question of accountability. Hundreds of powerful people have been implicated in this network. Hundreds. But to date, only one person has been jailed. Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell. Just one. It's mind-boggling.
And this brings us to the darkest shadow hanging over this case, the suspicious deaths of key figures. Epstein himself died in jail, officially a suicide. His alleged procurer, Jean-Luc Brunel, also died in a French jail, also ruled a suicide. These deaths mean a whole lot of secrets may have died with them.
It all leads to the one question that hangs over this entire scandal. Officially, Epstein took his own life. But when you look at the web of presidents, princes, and billionaires he was entangled with, the question just keeps coming back. Was he silenced to protect the powerful?